Hey, this is Fit Rockstar Isabel Terrell, and I am with the most interesting man in the world. He is the White House chef. There is nothing this man can't do. Chef Andre Rush.
It is an absolutely honor and pleasure to be here with you. This is incredible. I mean, I'm humbled and I'm starstruck.
Well, I'm starstruck and I'm very nervous right now, and I can't believe that I'm here with this guy with the biggest arms I've ever seen in my life. They're like 28 inches.
Give or take, it'll take a few. I'm trimming down a little bit, so
I'm trimming down. Yeah. You're like 300 pounds.
275.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm hungry.
And you're hungry?
And I'm hungry.
Don't eat me, please. Don't eat Nico either, even though he looks delicious. Now, I heard you eat 4 whole chickens?
I do. I eat a lot, actually. I mean, I kind of get rid of that little, people do so many different diets, but for me and my lifestyle, I'm an endurance trainer, so I have to put in a protein. I protein count a lot instead of calorie counting. People do with the macros and so forth, which I tell people how the right way to do it efficiently. But for me personally, because my body thrives off of it, because my metabolism is still so high, I have to take in that protein.
So how many eggs do you take in a day?
24.
Okay, I can hang with that. Now, I did see something on Instagram with Fat Boy or whatever. You had this huge, hot dogs, hamburgers, and what was it, chips in this big box?
That was a mess.
It looked like, what, 75,000 calories?
It was 75,000 calories between the three of us. It was actually more than that, actually. It was me and Big Boy and Callie, and we just had a smorgasbord of it.
I would die eating that.
It was a heart attack, but
I would have multiple heart attacks with that. So I have to ask, what is your arm game? I mean, what's going on? How do you get such big arms?
It was funny because the backstory is that I had both my shoulders done, both my biceps cut off and reattached in the military. The doctors told me that, hey, you're good, you won't grow any. And I was smaller, it was like nothing. And they were like, don't worry. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to listen to what you have to say because I know my body. The best thing I tell people is, know your body. You can look at a plan all day and night, but if you're not connected with your body, you'll never know. So you'll always be dependent. Mm-hmm. And for me, I just did it nice and slow and easy till my body said, okay, let's do this, let's do that. I did a lot of concentration. I did a lot of slow-mos. I do a lot of intense training, and from that point, it just kind of just took off.
Yeah, it's incredible. I saw a video of you training with Michael Hearn the other day. You're doing reversed, what was it, with the triceps?
Bench.
Reverse bench.
Yeah.
With 315.
With 315.
Like nothing. Holy cow. Maybe I could do a 45 on each side, but 315?
45. Holy cow.
That's hard, man. That's hard. But more major props to you. One thing I wanted to ask, and I'm going to let the audience know because they don't know. So I heard you were actually going to be competing in bodybuilding and giving Big Ramy a run for his money.
You know what? Right? I know Ramy, with James, his trainer. I was like, I'm here now. James going to train me so to make it competitive.
So you've competed in bodybuilding, right?
No, I've never competed. I mean, I've gotten a bodybuilding Hall of Fame up at Olympia just because of my influence and what I've done for the industry. I've never competed. I've trained a lot of guys in that spectrum, but I don't know. For me, it was the thrill of doing it and being able to be a part of it, vicariously. I actually said that this year I would actually compete, but I've never, to this very day, put my body through the whole limit. I've never been my best.
You would cream them, okay? You would give, like I said, Big Ramy a run for his money. I mean, you're just huge everywhere. You're very balanced. Speaking of, you were just in a film with Richard Grieco.
I was.
So what's that all about? You had on this sexy little, animal skin.
It was pretty sexy, I have to say, because I didn't know. It was actually, Richard Grieco, Dean Cain.
Superman.
Cain,
wow.
and my MMA guy, geez, and I've got a brain cramp now. You got me starstruck on part of it. But I played the God of War, and it was very fun. It's a trilogy, so I'm the badass at the end of the scene that's coming back to kind of like destroy everybody.
Well,
so
you're always badass, right?
Well, that's true too.
Right? I mean, you have a lot of people who are intimidated by you just when you walk in with the arms and stuff.
You know, the funny thing is that people are not intimidated by me because I'm such a nice guy. But people also don't know that I just play a nice guy on TV.
Yeah, well,
you know, because I have to be. I was in the military, Iraq, Afghanistan, combatives trainer, weapons expert. I love to get down on the ground. It's part of my release, just like cooking and just like working out. So
now I'm going to have to rewind that. So you said you like getting down on the ground. It's part of your release.
Yes.
Okay, that doesn't sound too.
Oh well,
some of these
training, okay, fighting. Fighting. Rolling on a mat.
Let's just make sure we got that right, because so I know some ladies here that would love to get down on the ground with you and have a little bit of release. Just saying.
You are crazy.
Listen, I was talking to a few people earlier, and they're like, "Wow," he said. So let's go back. So you do a lot of stuff. You're an ice sculptor.
A master
ice sculptor. Now you have. But there was something, and I read, gosh, you had certified master ice sculptor, right? I didn't know you had to be certified for.
So you can be just anyone can sculpt ice. Matter of fact, I'm doing a show next January about ice. Well, it's snow sculpting on TV. So
like snow sculpting.
I snow sculpt as well.
What is snow sculpting?
It's kind of like ice sculpting, but with snow. Just like if you go over in Asia and Japan, you see those big snow castles and things. So I've competed all over the world. With ice, so now it's snow.
Okay.
So I like being able to be versatile, and people don't know that I wear this chef jacket because it was a hobby of mine. It was release, so to speak, and I used it for coping, for triggers and things, and I used the other guys to do the same thing with their kids and with PTSD and just to have fun and relax, kind of like going to the gym and working out.
Right.
You sometimes you can get into your moods where you don't go in the gym and work out, but you have to eat. I mean, if you saw I did a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I made it fun.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yes,
I was like, we can have fun with just anything, and I can do a bologna sandwich and make it interesting.
Right.
So,
we wanted to do originally, I wanted to do a peanut butter sandwich contest with just our elbows, making the sandwich, but, it's too sticky.
It's too sticky?
Yeah,
we could have did that.
But, so, you're a master ice sculptor, chocolatier. Right? You are... Of course, you're a White House chef. You're a motivational speaker. You're there's so many things that you sommelier,
yeah.
which is the wine wine expert.
Basically, in layman's terms, it's just someone that pairs their food with wine, or wine with their food.
Oh my gosh! And you have a book coming out about your life and everything. And
I do.
Okay, so because you're a wine expert and you're a chef, that's a great match in heaven for many of these people who, he's perfect. You do everything. Wine and food.
I think wine is good. I mean, I just put up a video the other day about drinking wine. I was with Mark Bell drinking wine and working out.
I saw that.
And I was like, it's not a nice match, especially if you hadn't eaten anything and you did about 1,500 reps.
Right.
It just one little sip went straight to your blood.
Doesn't it give you a good pump?
I'm sorry?
Does it give you a good pump?
We had a good pump.
Yeah, because of the alcohol, right.
Yeah.
Now, you don't recommend bodybuilders to drink alcohol, right?
You know what? Anything, and it all depends on that individual. I mean, if you're going to do it, you're going to have to work harder for it. It's just like your diet. I mean, if you're going to cheat or having cheat meals, which is not even a thing, I mean, it's all about being dedicated and persistent. So to me, there's no such thing as a cheat meal, even though we can call it a cheat meal, but it's all about your training and how you intake that. Don't use it as an excuse.
Did you just say there's no such thing as a cheat meal?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, everybody has to. I gotta have my cheat meal. Come on. Now, training and diet. How is it 50-50 or is it?
No, it's not 50-50. You can go more so like 80-90. Right? I mean, your diet is going to be everything because me, as a nutritionist, as I do and I train and tell people about your body, about connecting with your body, I use food as holistic. We kind of get caught up in the monotony where, especially us in the industry, well, I'm gonna boil my chicken, I'm gonna eat this plain, bland type of stuff every day, and it becomes taxing and taxing.
Yes.
I want to enjoy my food, right? So I teach all the guys and girls how to eat delicious food that is just as healthy, even not even more healthy than what you're eating as a regular diet.
Can you meal prep my meals for me, please?
I can meal prep.
Because my diet, basically, when I'm competing, it's bland chicken in the crock pot with cucumbers and a little bit of rice. That's it.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But now go to that ground and pull up those earth tone palette things that gives it all those great flavor profiles, you know, from just doing some black garlic to just a little thyme or nothing. No, tell them it doesn't take a lot, but you want your palate to at least wake up a little bit. You can eat it easier, it can go down smoother, and you'll feel healthier because some of those herbs that we use for those foods are actually healthy, and it helps your body. So like I said, again, we use the food for holistic benefits, whether it be high blood pressure, diabetes, you know, heart disease, mental depression. I mean, so many different things you can do, especially if you have kids and you can kind of push that over to them.
And you're very big about the kids.
I'm huge about the kids. Probably
me
the biggest
too.
about the kids. Women and kids are my top two.
Tell me what you do for the kids and women. What are some of the things?
So, you know, I'm ambassador for Arnold Schwarzenegger for the After School All-Star Kids. Also, I'm on a couple boards, which MFP, which is Military Family Program, which we talk about military and the kids. We're actually doing a thing next month for trying to do the Guinness Book of World Records for the most kids doing a virtual online fitness, right?
Aww,
doing push-ups, of course. But I also started my nonprofit, which is 2222 Inc., which is all about kids, more so kids in a deprived environment. And they can be corporate or deprived, but I kind of focus on deprived because it's a big stigma with it, you know, that don't have that guidance or that mother and father figure who are not, like say, not in their lives, but not there all the time. Or people that can kind of give them an influence to say, hey, you can do this or don't do this, or that direction to know, educational wise, financially wise, and just life wise.
Yeah, you're such a positive person. And I can only imagine with these kids, it makes me I get teary-eyed just thinking about it because I can feel your energy and I know how much you care about the kids. You know, for me, in bodybuilding, the reason why I love bodybuilding is because of the kids. Seeing their reaction, you know, like you, I can only imagine. You got to tell me, please share some stories about when the kids see you, this big guy with these huge arms. What's their reaction?
You know, it's funny because I've had some celebrities, you know, who laugh and joke with me and like, Chef, I told my kid that I know you. And they're like, you don't know Chef. And that they're like, you know, a real life superhero. You know, they call me a superhero, and you know, it's the most. I tell you, it's the best part of who I am and what I do, to have those kids look at you and be like, now they want to be a chef. And I wear this because I tell them and I encourage them that you can be impactful doing anything in this world. It doesn't matter what it is. If you put on a chef coat, if you're a garbage man, it's all about how you perceive your life and don't have any limitations. So that's what I'm here for. And I wear this whether in corporate or whether I wear with the kids, and I treat them as such. You know, I have fun with them and I let them know that it's okay to be a kid, but also at the same time, you need to make progression in your life. And sometimes I have to be hard with them, saying that, you know, Billy or Sue, who's next to you, may not marry with you later on because they may not take the same path. If they do, that's great, but it's okay to let them go. And I know that because I've let so many people go who were trying to hold me back, who wanted me to be in that same stigma of, you know, we used to go out drinking on the corner, or we used to do X, Y, and Z, or don't worry about that education, don't worry about that scholarship, but just hang out. out, and I use that as a metaphor, but I say to them that your life, you want to be impactful. I have so many kids that come to my inbox and DM me, and 12, 13 years old said, thank you, I'm 13 years old and you've inspired me. And to hear kids say stuff like that is like a real blessing.
Absolutely. Yeah, you are inspiring. When I first met you with Eric the trainer in Orlando at the chef convention, and I saw, I was like, holy smokes, you're the most sweetest person. Everybody loves you. There's no one who does not love you. Maybe those who are jealous because of the...
Well, I do have a lot of haters.
Yeah, so that's good.
I love them.
Yeah, I love the trolls and the haters too.
Love
but
them.
What you do with the kids is truly amazing, and God bless you for that.
Oh, no,
because
thank you. I appreciate that.
It's people like you who make the world an incredible place, and these kids, they need people like you, because it's hard because, you have bullying now. And, parents some of them who don't really care, and I've seen it, and it kills me. It's like I can't really step in, but I see it all the time, and it's like my heart just bleeds for these kids. I didn't have the best childhood growing up, but I'm thankful for the childhood I had because I learned the right way, and it made me a very kind-hearted person. So in saying that, you actually come from a huge family, right? You have
I do.
eight siblings?
It was 8 of us, and I have a brother who passed away, and recently I was out. My mother and father passed away back to back. Right.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's and it was, and my mom is the one who kind of like embedded this into me. Because I didn't have like the best childhood, meaning that we grew up in the projects. We didn't have a lot of money, and I know and I remember how that was. Right. I didn't forget where I came from. That's why I put a lot about that in my book, and I was very hard and I was very truthful about a lot of things. And I know it upset a lot of people, but it also would encourage that many more. And I don't care about the 1%. I care about the 99%. So when I talk about kids, and I say it truly, no matter the demographics, no matter the color, where they came from, religion, or however, I don't blame anyone for their upbringing. But like you said earlier, it could be the parents who are just kind of like complacent, or maybe even overwhelmed because they got so many maybe kids or bills, or because we sometimes get lost in ourselves because we don't make the right decisions monetarily. We don't. And I can't blame them also because a lot of people don't know how to invest financially in themselves in the future, or saving the stock, because once you get a little money, like say a stimulus check, get a stimulus check and all of a sudden you go and spend it all. Why? That was money that you didn't supposed to have.
Right.
Or even the money that people during the pandemic, they were making more staying home than they were working.
Yes.
So if you were making more staying home, put that money up some, do something with it, make it work for you. And one of the things that I believe in is teaching your kids the exact same thing, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the stimulus check, there's a lot of people going to the recreational dispensaries, their checks. But,
Yeah.
The message behind your necklace, tell me about that. You have 3 sayings on there.
Yeah, you remember this necklace.
I do.
I actually have a new one that I'm going to show you later, but this one was my original one after my mother passed away. And the quick backstory was I was doing a commercial with Gary Vee. I was in New York, and my sister called up and said, your mother is, get to Mississippi, get to Columbus if you want to see your mother alive again. I didn't know anything was wrong with her. I knew she was ill. Long story short, I left, got there. She was on her dying bed, literally. She couldn't walk, she couldn't talk. She had lost like 60 plus pounds. And I'm looking at her, I'm crying like a baby. Sure. That was Saturday. I had to leave Sunday because I didn't know. I said, I'll be back in a week. And a week later, she passed away, which was actually, my anniversary for me being who I am. And then I missed that. And the week after that, she was buried Saturday, and that was also her birthday. And then the very next day, I became viral again. And I was so mad. I was like really pissed off, like extremely upset because I wanted to mourn. And as I was mourning the next day, I was getting all these things, and I realized, I sat up on the bed, and all these calls and messages, and finally I looked up and I pointed at her. I said, you did this, because it was what she always said to me. And the reason why she never told me that she was dying was because she knew what I was doing. And she would say she was so proud of me for doing the things and helping, because that's what my mother did her whole entire life, literally. And her saying was, keep going, never give up, and you could do anything.
Absolutely.
It's a cliche, but it was actually the truth behind it. And then on the back of it was the Bronze Star, which was my service in the military, Iraq, Afghanistan, or even 9/11. The circle here with the earth is inspire the world. I've been featuring over 20 plus different countries. It started off with the 28-inch biceps or the 2,200 push-ups I did, but at the end, it was all about my message. It was mental health and kids, and supporting people, and also with sexual trafficking and all those different things. This arm is just an arm flexing. It's not my arm.
It's not your arm?
No. It's actually for the women, because they're the strongest of us all, right? So I give homage to the females, always. The chef's jacket, a hat, is just saying you can do anything, no matter your platform. And at the end of it is my favorite, which is anti-bullying and bullying. So it's about the kids in a circle, just saying, hey, about bullying and supporting each other. So that's that whole message behind it.
Yeah, it's why I love it. I love those sayings, because I believe you can do anything you put your mind to. Anything.
True.
Doesn't matter how old you are either, because some people think, oh, I'm
past my,
Yeah, I'm past
exactly.
my time. I'm done. I'm hanging it up. I don't think so.
Yep.
I mean, you agree with that too,
No,
right?
I agree.
Yeah.
And a prime example is, especially in the health and fitness industry, like, I used to do that. I used to look like that. I used to be that in my prime. Like, how old are you? Like, I'm this. I'm like, man, shut up. Get your butt back in the gym.
Yeah. There's some people that are like 75 years old, look really good.
Oh yeah.
But some people sell themselves short, thinking, I can't do it, I'm done.
Yep.
I'll never get muscle, and you can still put on some good muscle, I think, after 40 years old, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's all about you taking care of yourself. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll be very transparent.
Please do.
It's inside and out. I have guys who used to shoot the crap with me and be like, I see guys in the gym a whole entire year and their body doesn't change because they're not doing the workout. They're like, I'm just doing this for my health. I'm like, stop lying. You want to have your wife, your spouse, or me, or a stranger come up to you and say, hey, you look good. You're doing a great job, and which is fine if that's what you are. But, it makes you feel 1,000 times better when somebody can just physically look at you like, somebody does a transformation and just lose, 40 or 50 pounds or even a little bit. It's just a little bit. It's saying you have to be, Mr. Olympia.
Right.
But just doing something, but doing it the right way. And knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Now, I have to ask, because you're a very close friend of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And every time that you're around, I've seen this several times, his eyes light up. I have never seen him, just for videos and stuff, and last year at the Arnold, I've never seen him get so excited over seeing someone like he does you. What was his first reaction when he saw you?
I actually pay him to do that. I wish. No, I'm joking. Actually, his eyes light up. Arnold is actually Arnold Schwarzenegger is actually my governor is actually in my book, and it tells the whole story of how, which is actually unbelievable, incredible. And I'll be honest with you. I was going over my book and I was reading when we first connected, and he reached out to me on Twitter and was like, "Oh, chef, you're incredible." And
is that your Arnold impression?
That's my terrible one. Yeah. Well, he's like, "I'm next time I'm in DC. We got to get together."
Hey,
okay, I got a little bit better. And my response was, "I appreciate it." And, because I'm just like such a, first I was just like, what should I say? How should I say it? But, I've worked with so many people, and I've never been like a fanboy, but I'm a fanboy of Arnold. But I have to be like, I'm very calm and cool, collective because of the principles I work for. And then I was just thinking, and I know in government and in politics that people say something and then it just blows away. But with him, it was followed up by a phone call.
Oh.
And he called me, and it was the best conversation I could ever have.
How did that go? Did you know he was calling you? You just answered, and you're like, "Hello," and it's like,
well, someone said, "Hey, hey, Arnold's getting ready to call you.
Wow.
And it went something like this. And he called and just said, he praised me and like, with you and your body, you're a power lifter, but you're a bodybuilder because of the weight you lift and how you do it and what you're doing and all this. And like, and I took it for what it was worth. And then this hat, there's no magic pill. Of course, he gave this hat to me. It was before his line. He became out with LeBron James, and it was such a humbling thing for that. And then along with that came other different things of being an ambassador for the After School All-Star Kids and, having lunch and just listening to the story. And I don't like to talk about it a lot because I don't put, a lot of people put stuff out. I don't put a lot of things out about my business or whatever. But I was been extremely humbled to be in that circle per se and be able to do the things I'm doing and have that support with all that homage that he has given me throughout the years. I mean, every time I've been somewhere, he's always pulled me out front.
Yeah, he does.
And it's the most embarrassing thing in the world. If I wasn't, well, actually, even though I'm black, you'll see me turning red. And even, as a matter of fact, to Arnold last year, we were doing the Hall of Fame, and he made me come up and start
I remember that, right.
And doing that whole thing.
Yeah, I thought that was funny because he's talking, all of a sudden he sees you. His eyes lit up, and then he's like, hey, who's Chef Rush? And he's asking you to flex and all that kind of. Which, can you give us a flex?
No, I can't.
Oh my
There's
God!
no flexing right now.
Whatever.
They're too small right now. I got to get back in the gym.
Okay, I get it. But yeah, I saw the hat because you wear that a lot.
I do. And it's, the metaphorically is saying there's no magic pill, and people kind of combat it, but it is more than what it's actually saying. If you read into it too much, it has so, and as he explained it, it has so many things behind it. There's no magic pill in life, and getting rich and doing things. You think about and you see somebody's past that you don't know, and you don't know the path that they've taken, or how and what they had to go through to get there, and is such an inspiration to know, and thinking that it was thought of not as a marketing tool but as a life's lesson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, everyone has a story. We don't get to hear all their stories, so I totally agree with that. But yeah, I was wondering about the hat because I see it in a lot of your posts, and I'm like, what is that? What does that mean? So now I have an idea. So how did you become the White House chef? Is that just something you can apply for? Or?
No. People think it's not on Craigslist. There's no, Indeed or.
Okay.
And I'll be honest again with you. It's literally like a who or opportunity or chance. First off, you got to have a top secret clearance, which I've had mine for the last 20 plus years.
Wow,
knock on wood.
Because of the access to the president and stuff.
Even beforehand, when I first came to DC, I worked for not only president, but I've cooked and I've kings and queens. I've been a security person. I've for chairmen, joint chiefs of staff, secretaries, Army, Secretary of Defense. I mean, I've done a lot of different things that literally they were just things that I was supposed to do. Never even thought about them, never even looked, never even took a picture or even wanted, because it was my job, it was my profile, it was what I'm supposed to do. But on that end, I'll tell you the quick version of it. When it was never supposed to happen. I was never supposed to get there because the person who hired me didn't want to hire me. Somebody else made him hire me. And to this day, he's my mentor, but he told me why he didn't want to hire me. Because he said, even as a young kid, he was intimidated. And he said, and that's life. I didn't grow up in that world. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know anything about intimidation or jealousy or anything. All I knew about was working and eating.
That's it.
That was it. But in the military, when I came in the military, there was a lot of that going on. You look at me, I was a young black, and I was a bigger guy. I didn't even understand my size, my whatever. I was 13 when I benched 315, and that was nothing.
Yeah, it's
and
impressive.
I didn't think about it. And I never picked it up again because it was like somebody say, horse can do it. That's what they call me. And I did it, and I'm like, okay, what was the big deal, right? There wasn't a gyms around. There was only like a little YMCA, and we didn't have all the knowledge. And when I actually got my brother, who was in the Navy, got my first bodybuilding book, and I actually he accidentally left it, but I actually put it away so he wouldn't bring it with him, and it was Arnold's Encyclopedia. And when I got into the military, there was a lot of jealousy. There was a lot of that, but it was a lot of cohesions and it was a lot of brotherhood. But it's the good and the bad that goes along with it. And when I tried out for my first job, that somebody saw me doing something, and it's true what they say, impactful people, you have to be impactful to be impactful. So people want to be around impactful people that's actually doing organic things and being actually real and honest. So I got the interview for it, and literally they said, try out. I tried out, and someone in my own service said they didn't want me. But the opposite service, which was the Navy, said, no, he's coming.
The Navy and your Army.
And it was Army. And I was like, wow. It was my own service that didn't want me to come.
Yeah.
And when I found when I found it out, I did what I always do. Oh well, nothing happened. And long story short was, we had an event for some royalty that was coming to the Pentagon. And I was doing this cooking thing, which I love to cook. It was kind of like my whole thing where it was like, I was an infantry combat unit. And when my commander found out I was leaving, he was like, enough of that cook shit. You're getting back to doing what we do. But I liked it. I liked it because it reminded me of my mother, and it was fun. And it was also a release. I didn't know how much release it was going to be later on, but it helped me save thousands of lives, right? PTSD with kids and doing the thing with giving back.
And with the military soldiers, too, you help them out with the...
Yeah, cooking to cope. So I use it for trigger release, for like a coping tool.
It does make you feel good when you cook.
It's like working out. It's just, people can do art, people can cook, or people can work out. I like to eat. So,
me too. Look at me.
And then when you put cooking and eating together, it's just a no-brainer.
Just real quick, like during the COVID, that's all I was doing was cooking.
I mean, it thrived. During COVID, everybody went to that cooking aspect. The three highlights of the COVID was physical fitness, cooking, and mental health. Right, because you had a lot of people that didn't make it because of that isolation, and they just kind of quit and gave up. So that's what I was there for. I was the combative towards that, saying, don't quit, don't give up. Let's have some fun. Let's do some things. That's why I started YouTube and playing around with people.
I love your YouTube
and just
channel.
Making fun of stuff. And I'm a big guy. When you see a big guy, it's like with Jake. If you see a big guy and they kind of like relax a little bit with you, you're gonna relax. Like you say, you had that intimidation factor when they're like, okay, this guy thinks and when you walk up to him, hey, how you doing? All of a sudden, it just goes down. Right. It releases out. And that's what happened I saved him with a dessert that he's done 1 million times. He was doing it for the royalty, and I told him beginning prior that I said, hey, chef, I'm not going to kiss your ass. I said, I'm here to work. I don't do that. I said, either you're going to show me or I'm going to say it anyway because we work in the same place. Mm-hmm. And this was my superior, but I just didn't do it. Like, I didn't understand that principle behind it, but I'm also in a different environment. And long story short was, he did a dessert he had did 1 million times, and when he did it, it failed. The Navy person asked me, they call me Big Dog, or Arm and Hammer.
Arm and Hammer? I can see that. All right.
Can you fix this? I immediately looked at him and said yes, because I'd seen him do it 1,000 times, and this takes 2 days to do it. I did it in 30 minutes.
What is this dessert?
It's called a puzzle cake. It's like 4 different cakes with a ganache, a praline cream, a chocolate cream, and it just is. You cut it at 90 degrees. It's just a really intricate cake that you literally have to put in a freezer so it can set and do all these different things. And so that's why it was so hard. And when I did it, it came out, and after that, and he saw it, he kind of froze when it happened. The Master Chief told him, which is a Navy E9, told him, chef saved your ass. And from that, he was like, okay. He took me, and this guy was absolutely incredible. He's done everything. He took me and he walked me over and got me my first opportunity at the White House. And he says, I'll get you to the door. Everything else is up to you. He got me in the door. I knocked, got in, and I stayed. And I was gracious of that.
So you served 4 presidents.
I back and forth. 4, actually by default, with Biden 5. So.
Oh, you do serve Biden.
So yeah, he was there. He was the vice.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. With Obama. Who was the pickiest out of all the presidents with food?
So I'll tell you a story that no one knows, that
Yay.
the FLOTUS actually picks the chefs, and FLOTUS actually can fire the chefs. And FLOTUS, just like in life, for the generals I work for, they're always the pickiest. The president doesn't care. The wife tells him what to eat.
I bet Michelle was very picky because she's very healthy.
Well, she's very healthy, so that's what the garden, but also very much more open because I had to garden. So people don't understand. I mean, I'm a meat eater, but it's a million and one things. I'm especially at vegan food.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
It's a million and one things you can do with veganism. With vegan food, I can make a million things that you won't even know that's not protein or beef or chicken. I did a Celebrity Sweat, and they came over, and we were doing a show. It was when I first met them, and I made them a vegan dish, and they didn't know it, and I didn't tell them. And they were like, "What is this?" And it was actually all vegan.
What kind of dish was it?
But it was just some tempeh, hempeh, and I molded together.
Tempeh and hempeh?
Which is kind of like a soy protein.
Oh, it's fancy. Okay.
It was fancy.
It's a little bit too fancy for me, Chef Rush. I just gotta
You would
say.
love it.
I just gotta say. If
You
you're
would
making it, who isn't gonna love it?
No, that's true too.
So speaking of, do you have anyone ever tell you no?
No. I mean,
You're gonna eat it.
No, it was funny because we talk about the memes. The backstory to the memes is that's actually true. I've actually done that. I do that. Saying that, I'm sure I'll get this. I'm like, no, you're not. You're gonna have the egg whites.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
the
I'm
egg
like,
whites.
no,
right?
you're not gonna do that because I was notorious for that, guys. I would play the hard ass, and I would be
love
in
it.
there, and I would be like, no, that's not gonna happen.
So you had Clinton, Bush, 43, the Obamas, and then Trump, and of course, Fed Biden. What was Trump like? Because he's very fancy and Mr. Gold.
So that's the misconception. I'll say it now, is that he was the most fanciest, but the most simplest. Like
Really?
when I say simple, you wouldn't believe how simple. Like overly simple, which was that's why I had my flexibility to do a lot of the things that I could do, was because it wasn't warranted. I mean, simplicity. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not going to stick around, or I'm not going to do something that is somebody simple can do, which nothing's wrong with that. Everybody has their own profile, but the thing I tell people is that it's personal. So your palate can, and I've seen both sides of it, your palate can go up or your palate can go down. Some people, if you get into a position where you can get anything you want, they'll be like, I want to try all this stuff and just do everything. Give me sushi every day, or give me this every day. Or you have some people say, I had that already, so just give me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, that's very simple. Now you were on call 24 hours, right?
I was not on call 24 hours. I'm too busy, but it is 24 hours.
Okay. Do you have any presidents ever wanted or had any guilty pleasures like ice cream or midnight snacking?
I mean, everybody has their guilty pleasures, chocolates or, candies. Basically, most were like candies.
What's your guilty pleasure?
My chicken.
Chicken? Out
Chicken
of
with
all
a
the
steak.
things, guilty pleasures, you're coming out with chicken.
You know what? I don't. I'm a pastry chef, so I don't. I started pastries a very long time ago, and what happened was I love pastries. And one day when I was younger, I was making these cookies. We had like I think maybe 4,000 cookies. So literally, I'm a big guy, and I'm like out there and these make these like famous chocolate chip cookies. So it's like, okay, one for you and one for me. I literally ate
So it wasn't one for you and two for me kind of deal.
Yeah, it was it was worse. But what happened was by the end of the night, because it was an overnight thing, I looked at my arms and they just started going up and down because I had a reaction to it.
Wow.
I had maybe eaten like 3 dozen cookies.
Jesus.
Right? Just throughout the night. Different kinds. And I went to the hospital, and they were like, your body had a reaction. It freaked me out to just see it something
I
like
can
a
only
sci-fi.
imagine.
That I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm good.
that'd be some incredible pump after training at this big.
Yeah.
Interesting. With the Obamas, now Barack had his own beer, right? They brewed their own beer.
Well, they brewed their own, yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's pretty
it's
interesting.
been there for a while, but that was one of those whole little things, which was really fun, extremely fun.
Now, did Clinton actually have a craving for McDonald's cheeseburgers?
Clinton?
Yeah.
McDonald's?
McDonald's, yeah.
Not a craving. I'm going to tell you this because it was very controlled,
Okay.
like I said earlier.
I remember the SNL Phil Hartman skit where he's President Clinton and he's eating the McDonald's and eating everybody's food, and I just had to ask that question.
It was, when that happens, it's on travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not when the ladies, his wife isn't looking.
No, it doesn't happen. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the men where they're like, okay, you're going to eat this, and this. I'm like, okay, dear. And then all of a sudden
Okay,
you
dear.
leave. You know, hey,
Yes,
go and
dear.
scout out me a burger somewhere.
Yeah. Now, are there foods that are banned that you couldn't make during certain terms?
Well, one of the presidents banned broccoli. I think everybody knows about that. And I mean, like, banned it from the whole entire White House.
Right.
Like, which is a little extreme, right? They have those whole things, but that was back then. Now, no one like bans anything. So what you got to understand is that demographically, like for the Ramadan or like for different religions, different cultures, different countries, you have to know their profiles, the religions, behaviors. Anything you can do or can be an insult. You know, I tell people all the time, I said, food has stopped wars and food has started wars. You know, I mean, that's a true statement, you know, going back when, because you can actually insult someone by doing so.
Well, I don't want to insult anybody. And I definitely don't want to insult you when you make me a meal.
Never.
So, but tell me about the 2,222 push-ups. Now, you do that every day, and it's not your workout. It's actually for a special cause.
It's for a cause. You know, it's crazy because I take off Saturday and Sunday now because I eat a lot. You know, have to get that back. And one of the things I also tell people is, if you see my videos, people hear about this. It takes me about an hour 15 minutes, hour 30 if I'm lazy, just because I don't have time in a day, right? I'm too busy. But what happens is people don't ask me how many. They say, why 2? Right, which is 22 vets commit suicide a day, right? So I do it for the prevention of and for awareness of, but I also carry that out for kids, for anti-bullying and bullying. I do the 2022, which for September, which was Suicide Awareness Month, we raised over 3 million donated push-ups where people did. I work with ISSA, and they did a website with me on it, and people just donated push-ups for that cause. And I told them it doesn't have to be for suicide. It could be for mental health. It could be for your wives. It could be for cancer. It could be ALS. It could be for your kids. It could be just because you want to do something that's good, right?
Tell me about this book you have coming out.
The book is one of 2, and it is called Call Me Chef, Dammit.
I'm a chef, damn it.
It's one of the little catchphrases I use. Actually, with HarperCollins, and they actually picked out the title. They said they loved it, all right, because it said so much. And as a metaphor, it's undertone, underlined because of that title. Because just like, you know, there's no magic pill. It's not about me being a chef. I was actually, when I was coming up through the ranks as being a chef, because I was a black male, and they were like, "Why are you cooking?" You know, and people would call me a cook, and I was like, But when I became a chef, they would never want to give me the title and say appreciation of calling me a chef. To one day, I actually grabbed my supervisor and said, "Call me chef, damn it."
Call me chef.
Because he called me to everybody else. Chefing is a very high intense job. It's like one of the hardest actually in the world if you think about it, you know, doing a brutal hour. I was doing 100 hours a week easily. Jeez. But the book actually is a memoir, and it tells everything. And I'll be honest with you, it talks about a whole history of stuff where it's going to make a lot of people raise their eyebrows. It talks about the military. It talks about racism. I was very blunt about growing up, about from sexual trafficking to people, abuse of authority, abuse of power, and I'll be honest with you, I had to be very politically correct on it because, you know, it's a very streamlined platform to walk on.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it was very thought about, but it was very needed, right? Because a lot of people got a misconception about a lot of things that happen and going on. Very tasteful, but at the same time, I want to tell my story, which HarperCollins allowed me to do, and I told it to the best of my ability without insulting anyone or saying anything. Now, don't get me wrong, it's funny, it's whimsical, and as the publisher said, it sounds made up, but every chapter is a whole different story, from why I do the 2,222, of why some things happen that just from 9/11 to White House to military. To
so yeah, real quick, you were 9/11 at the Pentagon when it happened.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very intense. And we get to read about that in your book.
You do.
Yeah.
You get to hear a little more about it, from my perspective, of inside and how it happened, and then of course the conspiracy theories that went behind it.
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories.
And then of course with people taking advantage of that, which
Sure.
people do with everything, just like with Corona and COVID. People instantly you get scammers right away.
Well, I got really pissed off because I actually went to the site, a few months after, and there were people selling pictures of blown up. And I was very angry, and I went off because it's still so disrespectful. It's really sad what happened, and it still it makes me cry. It makes me very emotional even thinking about it. But I'm really looking forward to your book. Where can we find it at? When's it coming out?
I actually just finished it up. We're going through the process now of editing it, so it should be out by this fall, and it will have early copies coming out so people can purchase it, and then of course I'm doing a lot of proceeds going to my nonprofit, which is 222 Inc. So I mean it'll be a fun it's a fun quick read.
Now you're Mr. Positivity, so is there anything you can tell people out there who are struggling, who are just a little down and out? Because I know you're all about togetherness, and I'm sure in the White House there's stuck up people who just, they don't want to smile. They're kind of negative, and I don't like being around negative people. I don't know about you. I got to block them out.
You know what? That is very true. I need to be around positivity. I tell people all the time, they were like, Chef, how do you stay grounded? I have kids, I have husband, wives. People say, how do you stay grounded? Right? And I say to them, because of you. I said, here's the deal. I said, I feed off of positivity, but I feed off of negativity 1,000 times more, because the truth of the matter is there's always going to be more negative in the world. Always. I don't care if it's like one bad apple in 100, if you have something that happens great all day, as soon as someone cuts you off, it ruins your whole entire day. And why? I do that whole thing where I have to switch it. I have to click it, per se. That's what I call it. So you got to click it. Meaning that, or you can just say that whole scenario where, hey, there's always worse. There's always someone in a worse situation than I am in.
Right.
Or you can just make it think about something that's positive in your life. And I have to do that 24/7. I mean, I have PTSD. I've had it for a very long time. And I made my worst thing my best ally. So I had to turn around. I've been in therapy for inpatient for 6 months, and another 6 months, and outpatient for a whole entire year, and nothing was working. And it was me working against myself. You are your biggest enemy or your greatest worth, right? And it's which side you be in. And it's okay on being on both, because I've been my biggest enemy, but I've always turned around to my greatest worth and made it work for me always. So I tell people just to look inside yourself and find an outlet, and think about whether it be your kids or whether it be at the future, or think about so many different things, because and then just say something to someone. Like you said, a lot of people, if you just say hi to someone, it can change their day. Someone can run you off the road, or think, oh, my bad. It can just change instead of them flipping you off.
Right. So you don't have road rage, is what you're telling me.
I used to.
I can't. All you have to do is show the guns, right? So how can we find you? How can I stalk you on the internet?
You just look for me. No, I'm actually on Instagram at Real Chef Rush. My website, chefrush.com. YouTube is Chef Rush.
Your website should be, I'm a chef, damn it.
No, it should be. So I'm just all over.
I have an idea for you and TJ, because you do all these crazy skits and stuff, which I laugh at. You guys are funny. Snickers, the diva. Like you're angry,
oh,
and
yeah.
you do the Snickers.
Okay.
That would be really awesome.
Love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
You guys are such a great pair.
Yeah,
I like
he's
where
great.
he threw the stone in your face, or the door where he's taking off.
I literally killed him.
Yeah, I know you did. So I have to ask, the man who does everything, can you open up these pickles for me?
I was looking at those pickles. I was like, what is she doing with those pickles? And I was
I want to see how strong you are. Please, come on.
I have a lather up to put this thing on. So I'm gonna have to get
just see.
a little
Hey! Oh, you didn't get pickle on your mask.
No, I didn't,
All
but
right.
they look really good.
They are good. Thank you.
I pickle all the time.
Me too. I love me a big pickle. Anyway, thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you, Chef Rush. It's amazing. God bless you for all you do. Thank you for your positivity. Thank you for all the good food, the wine,
No,
everything.
Always.
So
Thank you
happy to
guys for
have you
inviting
here.
me. It was such a pleasure.
Yes,
So much.
thank you. All right, tune in to Fit Rockstar next time. See ya. Peace.